Hi, I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnocoaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you'd like to know more about my work, please check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Today I want to speak about a theme that comes directly from Stoic philosophy, a system of philosophy that I personally follow. The theme is called Momento Mori, or Remember that You Will Die. Stoicism began in the 3rd century before the Common Era in ancient Greece. It's based upon the idea of cultivating happiness by managing your expectations. You're going to have a much happier life if you don't have a whole bunch of unobtainable neurotic expectations about life, largely trying to control other people or events, which can't actually be done. Stoicism has been very influential on therapy, on systems of spiritual development. There are some similarities to Buddhism, although it is in fact an independent philosophical system. One of the big themes in Stoicism has always been and is today the Momento Mori, remembering that you are mortal. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, once emperor of Rome, put it nicely. He said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This really speaks to me. I have heart disease. While I'm feeling really good right now, anyone with heart disease will tell you that their health is subject to change on about 15 seconds notice. So while I do have future goals and plans, and I'm attached to them, but still I know that I may not get there. And that conditions how I weigh what I do with the present. The term memento mori actually comes from a painting, Still Life with a Skull, that was captured in the 17th century by French painter Philippe de Champagne. The painting, and I'll put a picture of it here, the painting has a tulip indicating life, a skull indicating death, and the hourglass, which indicates the passage of time. Modern people who follow Stoic philosophy often keep something like this around, a little piece of skull jewelry, a pocket coin, a painting, or a piece of art like a still life with a skull. The idea that death has to be our constant companion in the sense that this teaches us don't procrastinate about living the life you want to live. Don't get so wound up with your future goals that you forget to enjoy the journey, and don't over-focus on the trivial things that pull pleasure out of life if you over-focus on them. Momento Mori. Remember that the future is not certain. Therefore, do enjoy today as well as plan for the future. There is a wonderful parable from the Gospel of Thomas. Now, the Gospel of Thomas was a gospel that is ancient, but it didn't make its way into the New Testament. It was found with the Dead Sea Scrolls. But in the opinion of many biblical scholars, the Gospel of Thomas does in fact contain material about what Jesus of Nazareth taught that didn't make its way into the actual Gospels that we have in our conventional New Testament. And that includes this parable, which is in verse number 63, called The Man of Affairs. Jesus says, "There was a rich person who had many possessions. He said, the rich person said, I will use my possessions so that I might sow, reap, plant, and fill my storehouses with fruit so that I will not lack anything. This was what he was thinking in his heart. And in that night, he died. Whoever has ears should hear. Yes, it's great to have goals. It's great to invest in your future, looking towards a return on that investment. But nothing is ever certain, and life is not certain. Remember, you could leave life today. Be sure you enjoy the journey to the goals you want to achieve. In our culture, we often talk about deferred gratification, meaning delaying an impulse to experience something pleasant right now in the hope of obtaining a greater reward in the future. For example, studying for a test instead of partying and showing up at the exam room hungover. We give up the pleasure of the party for a better future good, a better test score. As a psychiatrist, I appreciate a lot. The late Dr. M. Scott Peck wrote in his book, The Road Less Traveled, eat the crust first whenever you have a piece of pie. The crust is always the piece that you're not going to like that much, but eat that first, and then you can just enjoy the good stuff. There is wisdom in that, but there is also a balance that you have to hit, and that is the point of the parable. You should defer gratification in many things in order to obtain a future good, but also make sure there is some good along the way, because you can never be sure you're going to get to that time where the future good resides. Plan ahead. Don't be foolish about your goals and work for them, but don't be a slave to them either, because no one knows how long you have. Momento Mori. Remember that you are mortal. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject, and I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you share my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, don't hesitate to reach out through email, Facebook, my website, or my Patreon channel. Stay well and stay safe.